Seriously Sinister discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or it could be easy listening to all of you psychopaths out there.
Names and places have been changed to protect the hosts legally.
Listener discretion is not advised. Seriously Sinister.
Welcome to Seriously Sinister, your high school crush's new multi-level marketing scheme. This is Trevin.
Oh, and I'm Amanda. Oh my God, we all have one of those, don't we?
Don't we? They're all the same, but yet so different.
Gotta love MLMs and crushes.
Yeah.
So what's your dreadful dilemma this week, Trevin?
Oh man, so we have been so behind on getting with each other that I've started to compile them.
Oh no.
And then it was like, well, now they're not really up to date for me anymore. But so I'm going to bring up this one, and I will say put a big solved before it because it has been fixed, but this was still quite a dilemma for me.
Okay.
So a couple weeks ago, Mabel started going through this thing where she would wake up in the middle of the night and just be like, "Hoo, hoo," and making these crying noises. And that's usually what she does when she has to go to the bathroom. I got up, put on my glasses, and I went out in the yard with her because once she gets out in the yard, it's hard to get her to come back in sometimes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to go out 2:30 in the morning and try to, get her back in.
Right.
So I went out with her. She peed. We came back in. We got back on the bed, and I started to doze off again, and I started getting more.
Oh my God.
So I looked at Emily and said, "This one's on you. I already did it once. I actually went outside." So she went, let her out. She came back in, went to bed. Was tired as hell the next day. The next night, it happens again.
The drama.
And she starts to hear crying. And so I took her outside and brought her back in. Everything seemed fine.
So she peed every time this happened, though?
She peed, yes. She peed for
Okay.
me, and I don't know about when Emily sent her out. She didn't actually go out with her. She just let her go and took her chances to get her back.
Yeah.
So then the next time it happens again. I mean, my experience with animals is usually with Boots,
Yeah.
where he's manipulating me, he's taking advantage of me.
Yeah,
and it's
just like a toddler.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just being like gaslit all the time. And so I'm just imagining she's doing the same thing, but she's not like Boots.
Right, she's a sweetie.
So it happens again the next night. And we let her out, and once again, I mean, my sleep deprivation is just getting so bad because I can't just go back to sleep. So the third night rolls around, and she does it again. And this time, Emily and I are both so mad about it that we're like, you know what? You're just faking it. You just want to go play outside. You don't want anything. And so we just listened to her whine. Emily picked her up, set her off the bed, and was like, go somewhere. Don't care. Just don't want to hear it anymore. Well, a little bit later, Emily was woken up because the smell was so bad that it had traveled in and woke her up.
She shat?
She shat all over the kitchen.
Oh, God.
It was awful, all over the kitchen. And so Emily had to throw away her kitchen rug thing.
Oh, God.
And the stink really didn't reach me for some reason, but it woke her up.
Maybe because you've had COVID.
Yeah,
Or
this was
this
actually before.
Oh, okay.
We let her out, we cleaned it up, and then a little bit later into the night, she got down from the bed and just went and shit 2 more places in the house. So we were like, oh, great. We went backwards, and we taught her this is what you need to do now in the middle of the night.
No.
We started feeding her a little bit earlier at night. I told Emily, I said, no more of this wet food in the evening, only in the mornings.
Okay.
And it did stop, and she's back to sleeping through the night again.
See, I think she feels guilty because as you were telling your dreadful dilemma, she walked over and she's sitting like at your feet. And she's like, Father, please forgive me for all my sharts.
Quit telling my poop stories.
Oh, poor Mabel. Well, I'm glad you got that figured out because there's just nothing like waking up to the smell of dog shit, you know?
Oh, I know. And she's a little dog, but I am the king of cleaning up cat puke because Boots is always doing it.
Yeah.
But I would rather do cat puke 100 times over dog shit in my house.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a strong smell.
Oh, God. Picture my big dogs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when they do it, it's like the end of the universe for me. Oh, my God. Well, that is dreadful, but we still love you, Mabel, okay? You beautiful little soul.
We handled it badly.
Well, I do, too, have a dreadful dilemma, as I try and do every week.
Yeah.
So this one will relate to all of the parents listening or those surrounded by kids or even just those of you who love Disney movies, okay?
Uh-oh.
So I've talked to you about this movie, Trevin, off camera, off the mic, if you will, the movie Encanto. Mm-hmm. And I told you how obsessed I am with the music and just like whoever made the music, which I think the person who made the music, I wish I had his name, but he's done music for Broadway and stuff. Like it definitely has that musical, amazing. Oh God. As a music guy, you just really need to watch this movie already.
It's not the guy who did Hamilton, is it?
Oh, I think it is.
Okay, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I'm sure people are like, I know this.
I know. We're going to get all the DMs.
Normally I know this, but you're catching me on the spot here and I can't think of his name.
Don't worry. So that movie, the movie Encanto, has completely taken over our household, which honestly, it could be worse, you know, because I actually really love this movie. But my dreadful dilemma, Trevin, is that there is one song in particular that is so damn catchy. And I'm sure everyone who's seen it or has listened to the soundtrack is screaming it out right now. The song is called We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Okay.
And
And that's not them talking about the Sacha Baron Cohen movie about the...
No.
Okay.
No. They're basically shunning this poor family member that doesn't deserve it, but I really don't want to ruin anything for you. The song is so funny because the main part of the song is like, we don't talk about Bruno, no. But then the whole time they're talking about him.
That's a good point.
So it's just so catchy, but the dreadful dilemma is that we have to listen to it every day. We have to dance to it every day. I sing it pretty much every second of my life that I have a free moment. Even the other day when I was home alone working on stuff, I listened to it without Lila.
Oh, no.
Like, it's ingrained into my brain at this point.
That reminds me of my friend Kayla. She likes to do karaoke nights a lot. And she rented one of the off-key rooms like what you did that one time. And it was her and my friend Richard and her sister, a bunch of parents, except for us, basically. And all the parents are like, wild night, no kids are here. They get bottle service, and they're all karaokeing Disney songs.
Oh, God.
But it's like, man, way to let loose. You just want to go back to it.
Oh, my God. Well, it's so hard to escape it. I'm telling you, once it gets into your brain, just be warned. Once you do eventually watch the movie or listen to the soundtrack, We Don't Talk About Bruno is going to be stuck in your head for all of eternity. There are countless memes that I've seen online that crack me up. I'm going to have to post some with this episode. But it's like, oh, it just got out of my head. We don't talk about Bruno. Like just funny, hysterical memes. And I'm like, I can relate.
It seems catchy just the way you sing it.
Oh, God, it's so good. But anyway, so moving on, let's go ahead and play some trivia, shall we?
I'm in.
Whoa, Trevin. We do not have the rights to say that.
Let's have a fun time.
So I'm first this week.
Yes, you are.
Because Valentine's Day is fast approaching, I thought that this would be a very, lovable trivia game to play.
Oh, boy.
And this is actually something that I am really fascinated by, and I'm really curious if you are at all. So here we go. There's only 3 choices here.
Okay.
According to the FTC, romance scams have gone up by 50% from 2019 to 2020. The question, though, is how much money was reported as being scammed away from the victims in the year of 2020? Was it A, $117 million, B, $455 million, or C, $304 million?
So romance scams, are we talking like those girls on Tinder that say like, send me $10 and see what happens? Or
Okay, so you've got to look into some documentaries and podcasts about this because it's wild. There are networks and groups of people that work together to create these like elaborate romance scams. And then there's also people that do it all on their own. And they're like these horrible mastermind people who like just basically fuck you up with love and they take all your money.
damn.
Your face. But it's become a really, really, really big problem, especially due to the pandemic. People get lonely. They find you on some sort of social media. So I'm sure there's got to be some on Tinder. A lot of them that I've heard of either were from like Facebook or some other matchmaking sites. I haven't heard Tinder specifically.
Like Hinge or something?
Yeah, but they like start off slow. They talk to you forever, you know, and then when they've really got you, they'll kind of slowly ask you for money. And there's these stories where a lot of, especially like older Americans, will give tens of thousands of dollars to these people. It's insane.
Older people fall for it the easiest, I tell you.
But there's also stories I've heard of younger people. It depends. It depends how good these people are. And some of them, oh my God. I'm going to have to give you some recommendations on some shows to watch. But
Okay.
What's your guess, homeboy?
I'm going to go with A.
Okay. Well, you are wrong this week. But the answer is C. And that was $304 million.
That is so big.
I know. So $304 million in the year of 2020 was, and that's just the stuff that was reported, okay? Because a lot of people are ashamed and embarrassed.
Yep.
So think of really how much money actually was scammed.
Yikes.
Yeah, the love frauds have become like really, really big. So yeah, don't go falling in love with strangers and sending them all your money, you guys.
Yeah. Yikes. I'll try not to.
Okay, try your best, all right? Just stay with Emily.
Yeah.
It's safer this way.
I'm sure if I tried, I'd probably lose more money from Emily in that sense. All right, well, I've got mine. Mine does not have to do with love. I forgot that there was even a holiday coming up when we were preparing. Mine is also about an extraordinary animal, just as my dilemma was.
Okay.
So are you familiar with sea cucumbers?
You know what? I've heard of that. Sea cucumbers were in one of Lila's books, actually.
Oh, so you're an expert.
No, I'm not really, because I remember as soon as I read that, it didn't explain them at all. And it was like a Halloween book, and they were like in a closet and they lit up.
Huh.
Is that even accurate at all?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know more about these things.
So what are sea cucumbers' main defense mechanism?
Oh, okay.
Is it A, they excrete their own toxic organs out their anus?
Oh my God.
B, they collect corpses of other dead sea creatures and play dead with them? C, they emit a sound that puts predators to sleep?
Aw.
Or D, they can themselves and become sea pickles? Obviously, unless you want to lose, you won't say D.
Oh, damn. I really thought it was.
I just really wanted to make a cucumber and pickle pun somewhere.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, the first one's the most shocking. The second one was kind of gross, but kind of fun. And the third one was kind of sweet. I'm going to go with A, too.
And you are correct.
I am.
You are.
Woohoo.
So the sea cucumber produces a toxin known as holothurine,
Oh.
and they will secrete it onto the outer surface of their body wall. But certain species of them will actually eject portions of their organs out their anus.
Wow.
And they'll just regenerate it later.
Wow. So like their organ just floats away and then they just grow a new one, or it just sticks out their butt and then it comes back in?
It will completely detach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's like a starfish who loses a leg, gets part of it back or whatever. It's the same way. They're like, oh, here's some of my organs. I'll have more tomorrow.
I'm never going to look at this book the same with these sea cucumbers in a closet. Like, what in the hell?
Yeah, and their toxic anuses.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, we've all learned a lot about love and anuses so far.
Love and anuses.
So I think it's already time for stories.
It is.
And I'm going to go first this week. My story is from the news, and I'm kind of sticking with the theme today of Valentine's Day. But that's really all I want to say about that.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Take a look around you and inhale deeply. Can you feel it? For love is in the air. It is the time of year that we call Valentine's Day. What started out as a day of feast to celebrate the Christian martyr Saint Valentine has now turned into a day of expectations for lovers to show their affection for each other. It is the time of year couples are reminded to love each other by a forceful arrow to the tush sent by a flying child named Cupid.
Fuck! That really hurt.
Everyone handles this holiday differently. Those who are bad at communicating may give the gift of sweetheart candies with demanding quotes on them like, "Hug me," and "Be mine." Show-offs will plan elaborate dinners and expensive gifts in exchange for oral sex, while bums will blame corporate greed and unnecessary marketing for not purchasing a single gift.
Come on, babe. You know love is just a corporate construct.
However, the majority of couples will send each other flowers or chocolates to their partner's place of work to let everyone know that they've still got it.
Oh, he can get it.
Regardless of how you handle this holiday, it is hard to avoid the looming pressure that comes with it. Sometimes the pressure can become overwhelming, leaving you with no other choice but to commit a crime of passion. 22-year-old Ramsey Fakuri was a man in love living in Michigan during 2014. He had met his girlfriend 2 years earlier at the Indiana Bible College and fell for her immediately. They had so much in common. They both attended college, loved the Bible, and found each other extremely and undeniably attractive. Everyone thought that they were a match made in heaven. As the years passed, they had stayed together, even though their relationship became a long-distance one. Ramsey lived in Michigan while his girlfriend was in Illinois. They kept their romance alive through telephone calls filled with exchanges of sweet nothings back and forth.
What are you doing?
Just talking to you.
That's what you were doing last time I asked.
But Ramsey knew it was time to take their relationship to the next level. He wanted to turn his long-distance girlfriend into a full-fledged wife. There was only one tiny issue with Ramsey's plan: money. You see, Ramsey had his eyes on the perfect engagement ring that was worth $13,000. Ramsey had briefly considered that this ring might be way out of his price range, but he shook the idea from his head as soon as it had entered.
Silly me, get those dumb thoughts out.
He was determined to get this ring, no matter the cost. Ramsey racked his lovesick mind for ideas on how to get lots of cash quickly, when an idea began to take form. For his future wife was currently employed at the Bradford National Bank in Illinois. Ramsey's eyes filled with dollar signs as he pictured himself purchasing the pristine engagement ring and riding off into the sunset with his lover for life. The only catch was that he didn't want his girlfriend to know where the money had come from. That would completely dissolve the romantic fantasy, as he pictured his girlfriend's wrath after discovering he had robbed her workplace.
How dare you?
No, she would never need to know. Instead, Ramsey included his roommate to be in on his scheme. Their first step was to get insider intel from Ramsey's girlfriend about the bank without causing any suspicion. Ramsey gave her a call and put her on speakerphone for both himself and his roommate to hear.
Hello?
He started out the conversation giving her compliments and would mix in subtle questions like, "Hey, what day and time does your bank refill their ATM machines?" He would then jump back into mushy-gushy talk seamlessly, as not to cause concern. When they had received all the information they needed, Ramsey hung up the phone and looked at his calendar to set a robbery date. Like the hopeless romantic that he was, he circled February 14th with a red Sharpie. He was going to steal his way into his girlfriend's heart on the holiday of love, Valentine's Day. The day of the robbery was finally here, as Ramsey and his roommate loaded up their car with 2 airsoft guns that resembled semi-automatic handguns and masks to disguise themselves. As they were about to drive off, Ramsey noticed 2 turtle doves circling above them. These lovebirds were known to mate for life and to bring peace to the world as we know it. Just as Ramsey began to smile, thinking that this was a sign that he was doing the right thing, one of the doves shat on the front glass of his car, leaving a whitish-gray mess for his windshield wipers. Ignoring the doves, the 2 roommates began their drive to Illinois, driving throughout the night. They arrived outside of the Illinois bank's ATM in the early morning hours and waited for a bank employee to arrive. As they waited, Ramsey received a phone call from his unsuspecting girlfriend, wishing him a happy Valentine's Day as she headed into work at the very bank they were about to rob.
I love you.
He appeased her with a loving Valentine's message of his own, but quickly excused himself from the phone call when an employee began approaching the ATM.
Oh shit, I gotta go.
The roommates rushed to the ATM, put on their masks, and held their airsoft guns to the head of the bank employee.
Give us the money now!
Both of them left with bundles of cash, Ramsey collecting approximately $16,000 and his roommate with close to $10,000. Ramsey now had plenty of cash for the expensive engagement ring of his choice, and they began their drive back home. Later on that day, Ramsey received another call from his girlfriend, but this time she was frantic. In between sobs, she told him that one of her fellow employees was held at gunpoint and robbed. Ramsey didn't think that the robbery would have affected her this way, and comforted her by saying that he would take a Greyhound bus to come visit her that evening. Although Ramsey and his girlfriend did spend Valentine's Day together, he never got to live out the proposal of his dreams. Security cameras at a Walmart close by to the ATM they had robbed had captured both of the perpetrators' faces as they removed their masks. These images were sent to Ramsey's girlfriend, and she encouraged him to go talk to the police. When brought in for questioning, Ramsey had close to $800 of the stolen cash on him, while his roommate had his airsoft gun in his backpack. There was no way of smooth talking or love bombing the police into believing them, and Ramsey was ultimately sentenced to 78 months or 6.5 years in prison for the robbery. Sometimes love makes you do crazy things, and sometimes those crazy things can put you in jail. This Valentine's Day, I encourage you to take a step back and really think about your plans. If it involves robbing a bank or any other crimes, you should maybe reconsider and make a romantic dinner reservation instead. Because the phrase, all is fair in love and war, will not hold up in court. And there is no telling who will love you when you are behind bars.
Well, if that just isn't the truest thing I've ever heard.
Okay. First of all, do you know how much a typical engagement ring costs?
I do not.
For like people in our living situation. So, just to put it to you, I love my engagement ring with my whole entire existence, and I think it was like in the 3,000 to 4,000 range. So, like,
Okay, that's what I thought it was about. And then when you
Yeah.
said that, like, would you say 10 or 13,000? I thought, whoa.
yeah. So, like, clearly, unless you're like big ballin' up in here, like a $13,000 engagement ring is not the average person's engagement ring.
Wow. That is love.
Like, but also, when reading this story, I really do have a hard time believing that Ramsey's girlfriend had like, how could she have had no idea? Like, she was the one who gave them the intel, unless she's kind of ditzy. Sorry, Ramsey's girlfriend. But unless she's a little bit like, was just caught up in the love and everything. If they're asking you what time the ATM like switches their money, isn't that a red flag?
It's like, oh, baby, what are you wearing? When did they fill the ATM?
Honest to God. Like, that's how I'm picturing their phone conversations went. Like, he would say something like that, and then he would just, like, drop a ball, and it's like, I don't know. But regardless, apparently, she was the one who made him go talk to the cops. She's like, this picture looks like you. What the hell?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's wild.
That's a big one, too. That's one of the longer term punishments that we've dealt with.
I know. So not technically petty. I just thought it was like such a petty ass little idiot move to rob your own girlfriend's bank to get her an engagement ring, and it was just ridiculous to me. And I wanted to do just like a really weird crime of passion, and I was like, this'll do.
Yeah. Passion will lead to some wild stuff like that.
How do you feel about Valentine's Day?
I don't have a problem with it. This year has been a weird year for me so far, so I have not done any preparation or thinking about it.
Yeah, you've kind of had a lot going on.
Yeah,
to
I
say
can't
the least.
believe that we just made it through January.
Right.
Like, I'm like, really? This has only been 1 month?
Yeah. You're like, ooh, welcome to 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna, define the year in 1 month.
Totally. Don't. Yeah.
No, yeah.
January is cold and grubby. Like, it'll get better once it warms up.
Something like that.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, I'm not really one to. I mean, Jordan and I do something every year for Valentine's Day, even if it's super small. Even if it's like I make cool chocolate covered strawberries or something. Or we usually like look at one of the scrapbooks I made him or something like that. One year before kids, I was really cool and creative, and I just was like, I'm taking you somewhere and I'm not going to tell you where. And like, we went to Weston for the first time ever. It was years back. And Weston, Missouri, everyone, if you ever come through here, it's just like the most adorable little historical cute town.
Yeah, voted
And-
best day trip in Kansas City.
Is it really?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, it should be. That makes sense. But yeah, I just try and do something small. You don't have to go all out and about and freaking rob a bank
Yeah.
to impress your love interest or partner on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think I usually just say, hey, Emily, you can have whatever you want for dinner. And then she just picks Freddy's. So. That's usually how our anniversaries usually go the same way, too.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it's only Christmas time do we actually have like a nice meal of celebration.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Do what you want to do. Do what makes you guys happy.
Yeah, she loves those fries.
Oh, I love them too.
That is a lovely story.
Thank you.
And I love love too. So I got to side with this guy a little bit.
I mean, he had, I guess, kind of decent intentions, but just what a fool.
I imagine he probably came out of there single though.
Yeah, 100%.
That's probably the biggest tragedy of it all.
I know.
All right. Well, my story, like I said earlier, I forgot there was a holiday coming up. So there is nothing loving about this.
It's okay. It doesn't always have to be about love,
No, it doesn't.
What's love got to do with it?
But mine's there's going to be some 90s references.
Ooh.
So anybody who likes that time, you're in for a treat.
Don't we all? I don't know. Maybe not.
That's all I've got to say on this, and we'll just discuss it afterwards.
Okay.
All right, and here we go. Nostalgia is a huge part of our society right now. The current generation will spend countless hours and dollars to experience things that remind us of the past. It's gotten so in demand that nostalgia could be its own import. Reboots of popular TV shows from the past, Crystal Pepsi coming back to stores, and the resurgence of vinyl records. These are just a few of the big comebacks of our time. Comic book film creators are finding ways to push actors from 20 years ago into current movies, and people continue paying for whatever subscription service is currently carrying The Office.
I pay $120 a year just to stream The Office.
We just like to be reminded of simpler times. Times where we didn't have to wake up and put a price on the remaining hours of our lives, just to sacrifice them to jobs we hate. Or times when the only people we had to worry about were ourselves. Nostalgia is comforting. You can return to an old favorite and feel like you're being hugged by a loved one that you haven't seen in decades. I have a theory that all generations have been in love with the idea of nostalgia. But just like our current world's awareness of certain mental health disorders, we are the first to really recognize it. We have the technology to make things of the past accessible to ourselves, as well as the public demand for big companies to cash in and take advantage of it.
Money, 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 money.
Think about it. Your grandparents love sitting around the table and telling stories about the good old days,
When I was
or
your
reminiscing with old friends over a game of cards. When we feel the hunger for nostalgia, we just fire up a streaming service with an old show or Facebook stalk our past selves. Alone. We've found a way to make memory convenient, reclusive, and on demand. When I'm feeling especially nostalgic, besides music, there is only one thing that really takes me back. Batman the Animated Series never fails to get me right where I need to be. From its noir style of storytelling, the excessive use of dark and gritty imagery, and its deep psychological themes, I can still watch this show and feel comfort for the past, as well as seeing something new with my now adult eyes. The twisted tale that I will be sharing today is about a man who's still living in the past, but he will soon find out that the comforts of the past cannot protect you when you're on a collision course with the future. Our story follows a Vermont man by the name of Kevin Bacon. Feel free to picture the actor from such films as Wild Things and Footloose, but let me make it clear that this is not the Kevin Bacon. Kevin was a 55-year-old man who had an obsession for 90s television. His VHS collection spanned all of the walls of his apartment, and there wasn't a situation in his life that he couldn't connect back to a show from the past. Just saw an unexplained bright light in the sky? Kevin would quickly think of Season 3, Episode 12 of The X-Files, titled War of Caprophages. Or what about the time that Kevin got cussed out by 3 old women when he parked in a handicap spot?
Move, you piece of shit.
That's right. A whole handful of Golden Girls episodes would come to mind. There was no telling what show may come to Kevin's mind at any time. TV taught him how to live, the proper way of handling situations, and it really shaped his way of speaking. This was Kevin's code. Kevin had many friends that he would talk to online. Frequenting many 90s forums, he was quite popular. After many years of joining the conversations on the As If 90s forums, he finally reached the all that and a bag of chips status, the most elite of all of the statuses. He was basically a celebrity, All of the little 90s fan minions went to Kevin for questions and any opinions he may have on popular television shows. He even caught the attention of one of the other elite female posters, Lisa Simpson, 77. For weeks, Kevin and Lisa Simpson, 77, would share their favorite Mad About You episodes and reminisce on the controversial series finale of Roseanne. It was television talk with some light flirting sprinkled in between. But it wasn't until Kevin told Lisa that she was da bomb that things really took a turn. It was like Kevin awoke something deep within Lisa's 90s era heart. "We have to meet," the message from Lisa said. After a little more talking, they discovered that they were only a 4-hour drive apart. "Do you remember the season 4 two-part premiere from Seinfeld?" Lisa asked. "How could I forget?" typed Kevin. "It's the episode where Jerry and George take a trip from New York to Hollywood." Lisa Simpson, 77, immediately messaged back, "I think you should take a trip like Jerry and George, except to come see me." The two spent the rest of the evening planning, as Kevin was to hit the road first thing the next day. It was the day of the road trip. Kevin had a can of Surge to help keep him awake behind the wheel, and his car's 6 CD changer was already filled with Pearl Jam's discography. This was going to be the biggest and best road trip of his life. With Kevin heading south on Interstate 91, the two exchanged flirty texts and explained how excited they were to see each other. As time went on, though, Kevin felt a grumbling in his tummy. "We should get lunch together, right when I get there. Where is good?" Kevin texted. After a little time of waiting, Kevin's phone finally went off. "I've been thinking a lot about my favorite episode of Saved by the Bell, Screech's spaghetti sauce. Let's get spaghetti," the text read. Kevin broke out into a cold sweat. Although spaghetti sounded great, his grumbly tummy was the least of his worries. He was racking his brain, but was not familiar with the episode, Screech's spaghetti sauce. Although he was a huge fan of all 90s television, Kevin had a bit of a rocky relationship with Saved by the Bell. Ever since the season 2 finale, when Violet quit the Glee Club, he just couldn't watch it anymore. Violet had such a great voice. It was just too sad for him to go on. But that was then. This is now. Kevin had to be prepared for any conversations that Lisa may want to have about Screech's spaghetti sauce. What kind of all that in a bag of chips status member would he be if he couldn't carry on a conversation about this pivotal Saved by the Bell episode? Kevin closed out the message window on his phone and went thumbing through Netflix. He preferred to watch his 90s entertainment on VHS, like the good Lord intended. But these were desperate times, and he didn't have a VHS player and tube TV in his car. Scrolling slowly down the episode list with both eyes on his phone, he felt a quick jolt in the side of his car, accompanied by a loud crash.
Oh shit.
Continuing down the road, Kevin finally looked up from his phone. He pulled over to check the side of his car, but before he got out, he looked in his rearview mirror. Just a short ways behind him was a parked car with a police officer behind them. The officer was pointing at his car, jumping up and down, and screaming.
My damn car!
Realizing that he must have hit the officer's car, he quickly floored it and got back on the highway. Surely he will be okay, Kevin said to himself. After all, he didn't feel like his car was driving weird, and he couldn't miss out on this special meetup. But sure enough, just as the chorus to Pearl Jam's Even Flow began, it was accompanied by the sound of sirens. Kevin knew that he had no chance to outrun the cops. He pulled over and accepted his fate. In June of 2019, 55-year-old Kevin Bacon struck a parked police car that was helping a stranded motorist on the shoulder of Vermont's Interstate 91. Mr. Bacon stopped the car and then fled the scene of the crash. Another officer caught him just 1 mile from the crash site. When interviewed, Kevin stated that he did not see the police officer as he was too busy looking at his phone. According to the report, Kevin was too busy looking up the Saved by the Bell episode, Screech's Spaghetti Sauce, from 1992. An episode about a special spaghetti sauce that Screech prepares during a campus TV show. No police or news report states why this episode was so important that Kevin felt it was important to research while behind the wheel. Mr. Bacon was charged with gross negligent operation of a vehicle, fleeing the scene of a crash, and also issued a traffic citation for texting while driving. No person was hurt, and both vehicles took on minor damage. The story of Kevin Bacon and Screech's Spaghetti Sauce is a story of just how dangerous nostalgia can be. Although it is important to remember where you came from, there is a time and place for reckless reminiscing. You never want to find yourself so stuck looking back at the past that you are never focused on what lies ahead.
Wow. Do you think that Kevin Bacon admitted that he was looking up that episode? Or do you think they just found his phone and saw that or something?
From what I understand, I believe he did straight up admit that he was looking up the specific episode, Screech's Spaghetti Sauce.
Kevin Bacon, what are you thinking?
Kevin Bacon, what are you thinking?
Oh my God. Wow. It's really bad. Gosh, you hear all the time of crazy stories of cars on the side of the highway getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
But this has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, so bizarre. I just had to come up with a stupid backstory for this because I thought when it said person arrested for hitting a cop car while looking up a Saved by the Bell episode, I thought, wow, that's pretty specific. Then I read more and I was like, it's even more specific. They actually named it in the police report what episode he was looking for.
Oh my God.
So this guy had to have
wow.
been a big 90s fan or something.
You know what, though? I think that the backstory you gave him was beautiful. And also, it did give us a connection of long distance lovers
That's true.
and trying to connect, virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our connection. But I also love how in the beginning of your story, you specifically talked about episodes because it turned out to be a huge part of the crime.
Yeah, I had to do some research to get accurate with it. So if anybody wants to challenge anything I said in there, the only thing I question is my way of saying caprophages. I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah, that was really just quite the word.
Yeah. Looking back on that, I regret that episode choice. But
Did you watch Saved by the Bell?
no, my aunt did. And when I was a kid, very young, I would walk in there and watch a little bit with her. But
Yeah,
no.
my dad would watch it sometimes, but...
I've seen a lot of trailers for the new reboot of it, though.
Oh, okay. I haven't, but that's cool. Yeah, my dad, I think he used to watch it. I don't know if he was a huge fan or not. I think it was just kind of sometimes it was on. That was a little bit before our time, I feel like.
Yes. That was,
Wow.
I think it started in 89 and ran till 94 or 93. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure. What a ride. I mean, what a wild ride. I think that we can all kind of take a moment to think about your Valentine's Day plans, make sure they don't involve crimes, and don't watch Netflix while driving.
Yeah, don't do that. There's a new commercial I keep seeing of a lady who she's like, oh, Mary just signed up for Verizon, and it talks her, it shows her doing stuff. And there's one part where they're following her, and they show her getting a coffee, and she's watching Disney Plus while holding her coffee in her hand and walking down and looking down. And it's okay, you're gonna bump into anybody in the store. But then there's another part of that where it shows her going through a car wash. And he's oh, how do you like your phone there, Mary? And she's oh, leave me alone. I'm in the lead right now. And she's playing a racing game on her car while driving through the car wash. I'm like, what kind of a commercial is this?
Dude, I just saw a commercial that I keep seeing on repeat that it's a car commercial just talking about how like it breaks for you or whatever. And it's like a couple going back and forth like, what do you want for dinner tonight? And he's like, sushi? And she's like, I just had sushi. But then later on in the conversation, he's like, what about seafood? And she's like, I don't like seafood. And I'm like, isn't sushi seafood? First of all.
I feel like yes.
And then they almost crash into the back of a car and it says tacos on it. And it's like a taco truck. And they're like, tacos, yeah, tacos. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
And it's like promoting how safe the car is so you can have these bullshit ass discussions and not look at the road.
I'm so glad we're stupid Americans. Tacos almost hit us and let us know.
Oh my God. These commercials are freaking wild. They're like, hey, do whatever the hell you want. Just buy our product.
Yeah, they should probably team up with an insurance company if they're going to like promote that kind of stuff.
Oh my God. Well, wow. Well, I hope everyone has a great week. And you know what? Even if you're single on Valentine's Day, that's amazing. I've had plenty of really fun single Valentine's Days in the past.
Oh, yeah.
But I just want everyone to remember that no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed and eaten so much heart-shaped chocolate
that you just can't even. Bye.
See ya.
When most people think of the Hawaiian Islands, they imagine white, sandy beaches, turquoise blue water, sipping a Mai Tai while watching the sun dip into the horizon. Well, there's more to Hawaii than just its sand, surf, and the aloha spirit. Spirits of a different kind may occupy the Hawaiian Islands. Most visitors don't know about Hawaii's haunted history. Do you like listening to spooky stories while huddled around a campfire? Do you want to learn about the haunted hotels and the restless spirits still roaming the halls? Or why it's believed whistling at night attracts spirits of the dead? Come join me, Uncle Jared, as I cover these chilling tales on my podcast, Ghost Lore of Hawaii, Paranormal Paradise.
Thank you for listening to Seriously Sinister.
If you have a true petty crime story to share, please email us at seriouslysinisterpodcast@gmail.com or send us a Facebook message.
If you would like to support our show, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
Also, tell your friends about this podcast.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Seriously Sinister Podcast.
And on Twitter at SeriouslySinPod.
Shout out to Trevin for writing all of the original music you hear and for producing our show. Follow him and his music at Fiesta Maiden on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Facebook.
And credit to Miranda Lucas for our awesome logo. You can find her on Instagram at MirandaLucas26.
All stories are written by myself and Trevin, and all stories are based on actual, true petty crimes. Living in Michigan during 2014. So sorry. Felt that one coming.